Okay, we've got video number 3 today for the final review, right triangles and trig final review. So you need to remember SOHCAHTOA, and that stands for sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. So on this problem, our theta is E, meaning this is our angle. So the side across would be your opposite. The side across from 90 is your hypotenuse, which means this has to be the adjacent. Now we just fill in the numbers. So 6 over 10, but that reduces to 3 over 5. Make sure you put it in simplest form. Adjacent over hypotenuse, 4 over 5. And finally, tangent. Opposite, 6 over adjacent, 8, which reduces to 3 over 4. Next, you need to figure out which one of these 3 to use to solve for what you're missing. So I like to mark the sides. We know opposite. We're trying to find the hypotenuse. So that's sine. Our angle is 65. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Now, if you remember, when x is on bottom, we can kind of do sort of some math magic. We can just flip it around. Put that into your calculator. You get 11. Same thing here. We need to figure out what sides we have. We're trying to find the hypotenuse. We're given the adjacent. That's cosine. So cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. You can do the magic math flip here. Don't know why I put 8 when it's clearly 6. Do the math flip. You get x equals 6 over cosine 40, 7.8. And we're just going to keep solving these the same way. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. You got adjacent, you got hypotenuse, that's cosine. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, when it's like this, we can cross multiply. Here you've got adjacent and hypotenuse. So again, cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. These are math flip. Gives us 15.9. And it's kind of just similar what we just keep doing over and over and over again. But this time x is an angle. We have our opposite and our hypotenuse. That is sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Need to get rid of sine, so we use sine inverse. So it's going to be green on the calculators. Make sure you hit second. So that ends up being 42. We've got opposite over adjacent. That's tangent. Got to get rid of tangent, so we do tangent inverse on both sides. And 39. Okay, kind of same thing here, so I'll speed it up. We have cosine x equals 8 over 18. We need to do cosine inverse of both sides. So 64 degrees. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So x is sine inverse of 7 over 25, 16 degrees. And we just keep solving. But this time, we don't have a theta, but we do have a right triangle. So, Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, you didn't think we were done with that, did you? Then whatever this is, take the square root, x is 51. Here we have 10 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. Take the square root of that, you get 5 squared of 13. But here you have 25 squared equals x squared plus 18 squared. Take the square root of that and you get square root of 301. Oh, and this is going to be a long video, so I might just speed up some places. All right. So first, for it to be a triangle, A plus B needs to be bigger than C. So we should check that. 10 plus 12, is that greater than 30? It is not, so this is not a triangle, so it's nothing. All right, 5 plus 7, is that greater than 9? It is, so now we just check. If C squared is bigger than A squared plus B squared, that's obtuse. If C squared is smaller, that's acute. And if it's equal, that's right. So let's see. 9 squared, 5 squared plus 7 squared. So 81 is bigger than 74, obtuse. Here is 10 squared bigger, smaller, or equal to 8 squared plus 9 squared. Well, 100 is smaller than 145, so we are acute here. Then you've got your special right triangles. Just a reminder, for a 30, 60, 90, your sides are A squared root of 3, and 2A. So if we look here, it tells us this is X. So we kind of know what we're doing is just setting this stuff up. X is across from 30, A is across from 30. 26 is across from 90, 2A is across from 90. So I really kind of get this. So A would have to be 13 when you divide by 2. So that means this is 13, and this is 13 square root of 3. Same thing, same kind of process here. Across from 30 is A, so we know A is 4. Across from 60 is A, square root of 3. And across from the 90 is 2A, or 2 times 4, which is 8. Here across from the 60 is 7 square root of 3, but we know across from the 60 is A, square root of 3, so A has to be 7, which makes this 2 times 7, and just 7. Now this last one's kind of tricky. Across from the 60, 8 is A square root of 3, so I have to divide by square root of 3. So 8 square root of 3 over 3 ends up being A. Across from the 30 is A, so this is 8 square root of 3 over 3. And across from the 90 is 2A, so 2 times all that. Then another one to remember is your 45, 45, 90. Oh, geez. So on this one you have A square root of 2. So if you match it up, A is 9, so this is 9 square root of 2. Here we match it up, A has to be 3, so this is 3 and 3. Here it's square root of 11, so this is square root of 11, and this is square root of 11 times square root of 2. Then this one is A square root of 2 equals square root of 6, so we have to actually solve on this one. So A equals square root of 3, so square root of 3, square root of 3. All right, word problems. Blah, 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 blah. I read through it. Angle of elevation is 74 degrees. It says it's 629 feet to the top. They want to know how tall it is. Well, set up your proportion. We have the opposite and the hypotenuse. That's sine. You should already know how to solve this. Cross multiply 605. An airplane flying 2,000 feet above the ground. The straight line distance to the tall building is 4732. What's the angle of elevation? We're finding an angle, so we're going to have to use an inverse. So sine inverse of 2,000 over 4732. And it looks like the angle, if I can read my handwriting, is 25 degrees. You decide to build a zip line to a tree that is 45 feet away. The angle of depression is 20 degrees. How long is the zip line? All right, so we've got cosine this time. So cosine 20 degrees equals 45 over x. Use your magic flip trick, 47.9 feet. So if you're not sure what I did here, just go back earlier in the video when we had these set up and we were trying to solve. Baseball diamond is a square, okay, with sides equal to 90 feet. What is the shortest distance from first to third? All right, well, guess what? We've got a right triangle here and no angles. So 90 squared plus 90 squared equals x squared. So take the square root of that. I got 127.2. All right, 4 more, and then this video's done. Okay, so the flat top screen measures 10 inches in height, 24 inches in width. What is the diagonal of this? Oh, well, that's the right triangle. Take the square root of that, and we get 26. A clothesline is connected from a window of a building to a window in a cross alley. The clothesline is 10 yards long. The angle of depression is 17. How far apart are the buildings? Okay, well, if we look, we've got cosine 17 equals x over 10. We can cross multiply here. I guess I'll do this whole one this time for you. Feeling kind of nice. So 9.6. A boat out at sea notices a light coming from there. The angle of elevation is 34 degrees. The lighthouse is 190 feet tall. What is the horizontal distance? So we've got tangent 34 equals opposite 190 over adjacent. Do your flip trick. And there we go. And the last one. On the playground, a slide is 9 meters long, runs over a horizontal distance of x. What's the angle of elevation? So we've got adjacent and hypotenuse. So don't forget to do cosine inverse. And you're going to get 48 degrees. Okay, so that's right triangle trig and word problems. Probably something to pay attention to. Just remember SOHCAHTOA.